Hello, I'm Lisa. I hate small talk, and I'm about to make it your problem. This is honestly an exquisite form of torture, a conversation so demanding, but I cannot simply disconnect from reality, yet a conversation so boring that I can't bring myself to enjoy it. So, of course, I end up smiling, nodding, and just counting down the minutes until it all ends. Now, some people say that we don't like small talk because we're bad at it. In my case, the idea of small talk seems so repulsing that I don't even want to be good at it. Unfortunately, in most Western countries, small talk is a big part of culture, so you kinda have to participate in it. In this video, I will explore what advantages people see in small talk, why is it so popular in Western cultures, and why I personally have such deep disgust towards it. Let's begin with the definition of small talk. Small talk is a form of conversation where the topic itself is irrelevant, and what is important is to establish a connection between two people and to understand their emotional states, get to know them better, and make sure that you are on friendly terms with each other. The term was first used in 18th century as a synonym for chit-chat. While researching for this video, I found some feminist critique which roots from the assumption that small talk is opposed to real talk, which gets stuff done, while small talk only gets relational stuff done. However, I don't agree with this definition, as in my experience, small talk may as well get stuff done, as in you talk about your favorite hockey teams and when you go to a hockey game together, or you decide to hang out with friends after making some small talk about how terrible the weather is. On the other hand, the real deep talk might not necessarily get any stuff done. You might just end up arguing about abstract concepts, and it is not going to lead you anywhere. Yet, in the real talk itself, you actually care about the topic. Thus, in this video, I don't decide deep talk as the talk which gets stuff done. Instead, I define it as the talk where you actually care about the topic of a conversation, while small talk is defined as an easy conversation which helps you establish that you are on a friendly term with another person, where the topic itself doesn't matter, it's the communication and the sharing of energy and emotions what matters. Small talk has its benefits as it is a way to build bridges. There is some research to suggest that small talk may have positive impact on a person's self-esteem and feeling of belonging. While other research is way more conservative about it, no research suggests that small talk is bad for people. And the reasons for small talk are pretty apparent. It helps a person understand that they belong in this society, what the society cares about him, and that he is being noticed. Moreover, it can increase self-confidence as other people talk and smile to you, as well as just establish that you are in a friendly community. Some research even suggests that the concept of interpersonal synchronization may be the reason why people use small talk so much, because it helps you synchronize with a person's body language, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way their voice sounds, and basically do a vibe check for a person and see whether you can non-verbally connect with them. When you do small talk with people you already know, it is usually a leeway for deeper conversations. It helps people ease out and be more open to deeper topics, as we've already established the mood you are in and how you are feeling about them currently. In general, small talk is a way to build bridges to people, which helps you establish that you are on friendly terms with everyone while not wasting too much energy on doing actual conversations. However, the problem I see there is that small talk still requires energy, and for me, putting a smile on my face and coming up with things to say actually puts a heavy mental load on me, while providing not much in return. Fundamentally, I am way more interested in things and ideas rather than people, so sharing emotions without any context seems meaningless, and imitating their interest is honestly pretty exhausting. I think a lot of people can relate to small talk simply being boring and energy consuming. Thus, even though small talk is considered to be less energy consuming than deep talk, it may be way less natural and therefore more exhausting for people who just don't care that much about social interaction. And when energy is a scarce resource, as it is certainly for me, the perspective of doing small talk every day seems quite daunting. Also, small talk is a small strategy. You need to make small talk with your colleagues, bosses, professors to make sure they have positive impression about you. This helps them remember you and associate you with positive emotions and with someone who is smiling and encouraging. There is even research to suggest that small talk correlates with success in life because people who make more small talk are perceived to be more extroverted, and people tend to have better opinions about extroverted people. Now, the way this misses the point and the way people mistreat introverts for basically nothing is a topic for another rant, and let me know if you want to hear me talk more about it in the comments. Now, since small talk has so many benefits, it's only natural that people will try to use it even when they don't feel like it. They will try to pretend that everything is alright, put a smile on their face, ask you how you're doing even if they don't care, just in case another person can be useful. Even if you don't really care about the person in front of you, you might not know them well enough to care. They may still be of some benefit to you because you don't know what opportunities they can provide. So there is still motivation to be polite to them, to ask them about their day, about their hobbies, and forget all of it immediately. And I don't blame people for doing that, as I am the same way myself. I tend to forget a lot of people's names immediately after asking for them. I tend to ask questions. Oh, really? How did that happen? Even when I don't care about how something happened. I put a smile on my face a lot when I don't feel like smiling. And I feel like it's only rational to do so when everyone else is doing it. And if you don't try to pretend that you are interested in everyone, you are so polite and nice, then you might just miss out on some very good opportunities. I believe that a lot of people are pretending. No surprise, there is a meme about, and you have to say you're fine, but you are not really fine. Cheerful lying is a phenomenon in our culture because we are trying to be liked by other people in order not to miss out on opportunities. However, when everyone is pretending to enjoy it, the small talk loses its initial purpose. It does not establish authentic connections and doesn't help you understand how the person actually feels about you. You know exactly what the person is going to respond to anything what you say because it's all pattern-based communication. You know what emotions they're going to express and what emotions they're going to keep to themselves out of politeness. And you know what you're supposed to say, what you're supposed to pretend to be interested in. Thus, instead of being a way to build bridges and establish positive connections, small talk just turns into a social ritual, useless yet still revered. The only problem with such social ritual is that it still requires a lot of energy, and that energy goes to nothing. It goes into maintaining your masks and maintaining the masks of other people. Thus, this social ritual is nothing more than a sacrifice of energy. It might not be the worst sacrifice the society requires, yet, is it actually necessary? Small talk isn't a cultural norm in all countries. For example, Sweden, while famously being one of the happiest countries, is also one of the countries where small talk is the least prevalent. People prefer to just keep silent, keep to themselves, and only share their feelings and emotions with the closest one to them. Some people like to make a distinction between coconut and peach cultures. I don't know how scientific this distinction is. Probably not at all scientific. Yet it made a lot of sense to me when I moved from Russia to Canada. A lot of northern countries, like Sweden, Finland, pretty much all the Scandinavian countries, as well as Russia, Germany, and in general countries where it's usually cold outside, people tend to be like coconuts. That means you have to work hard to crack them, and when they finally reveal themselves to you, they appear to be unfriendly and unwelcoming. They don't really smile at you and they don't try to make small talk. Yet, once you get to know them closer and you've known them for long enough, they will completely open up to you and treat you like a second family. In peach cultures, however, and in countries like Canada, United States, and a lot of southern countries too, small talk is very prevalent. People smile at each other and appear to be friendly. They are polite to everyone, and in a sense, everyone is their friend. Yet, even though we're friends with everyone, we don't really trust anyone. We're not going to make you part of your family. Instead, we're just going to make a small talk with you, maybe hang out a couple of times, and then forget about you. There are pros and cons to every culture, and when you move from one culture to the other, it may seem very odd to you. For example, when people from peach countries move to coconut countries, they feel unwelcomed. They feel like other people are giving them the cold shoulder and they don't know how to communicate with them anymore. They don't feel seen and feel alienated. On the other hand, when a person moves from a coconut country to a peach country, they might feel terrified. They might feel like people are wanting something from them. People have some ulterior motives, and that's why they're trying to talk them up and trying to be all friendly. And sometimes people may just seem frustrated when a person made small talk to them, but then didn't want to be actual friends. I myself discovered this when I moved from Russia to Canada. People actually smile at you on the streets. They try to talk to you, and it was pretty surprising for me, and I didn't know how to react. Now, there are obvious advantages to this. For example, people in Canada are way less toxic than people in Russia. They're not gonna just scream at you, they're gonna try to be nice and polite to you. On the other hand, it's way easier to live in Russia when you have a bad day. You don't have to fake a smile, you don't have to explain yourself to people, or to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, because no one really cares. And people who do, well, you can be honest with them, they're almost like your family at this point. It is hard to make a transition from coconut to peach culture and vice versa. Because for peaches, coconut cultures seem unwelcoming and cold, while to coconuts, peach countries just seem fake. And both of these statements have some truth in them. Russians don't really like you, and a lot of Canadians don't like you either. They just want you to believe they do. Now, a lot of Canadians are very nice, and a lot of Russians are pretty nice too, but some of us smiles are obviously fake. And since I was born in a coconut culture and English is my second language, I'm just not that used to making small talk, and it's even harder because of the language barrier for me. So it might be harder for me than it is for the average Canadian. I'm also more introverted, and I don't enjoy talking to people that much. So it might be just a personal mismatch between me and small talk. Yet, I believe there is some rational seed to my dislike of small talk and the general beach way of living. Because once you crack a coconut, you get access to its delicious flesh and delicious coconut milk. There is a lot you can enjoy in a coconut, and there is only a bit of a peel you can't actually eat. However, with peaches, once you eat the peach itself, the peach's pit isn't very useful for anything. I mean, my grandma managed to make some delicious apricot pits jam, but most people will just throw the pits away once they had the most delicious and the most easy to get part of the peach. And the thought that I might never get actually close to people from peach cultures, as they're too afraid to take off their masks, they're not used to it. But they already showed you the best parts of themselves and they're not ready to show anything else. The thought that they might only be completely honest with parts of their family and I will never be actually close to them, it just doesn't sit right with me. People I would call acquaintances in Russia, I would call friends in Canada. People I would call friends in Russia, I would call close friends in Canada. People I would call close friends in Russia, I would call best friends in Canada. Yet, how would I call my best friends from Russia in Canada? I cannot really find a synonymous term, and does it mean what the concept doesn't exist in Canada either? There is a trade-off to people spreading themselves too thin, since they might lost their core in the emotions and opinions of others, or just never risk to reveal this core as they know and talk to too many people to actually focus on some of them and learn how to truly trust them. In a lot of cases, small talk used not as a bridge but as a wall between people to avoid true vulnerability. In small talk, you sacrifice sophistication for the sake of safety. There is only so many emotions you can express in small talk, so many ideas you can subscribe to, Even your vocabulary is limited as you can't use words which are too sophisticated in order to not make the other person feel inferior if we don't completely understand you. You have to use the most blunt, inoffensive vocabulary and ideas to make sure you do not alienate anyone. You don't even get to express your emotions because only the moderate emotions like moderate happiness and moderate sadness because you're tired from work are allowed. You can't share any of your deep problems so as not to bother the other person, and even if you act too happy, it might still upset them and feel unsettling, so you wanna avoid this too. You have to simplify yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your vocabulary in order to fit in the mold, in order to not be a nuisance to the other people so that they don't have to struggle to understand you because you provide them clear answers you stole from YouTube videos on how to make small talk. The conversation has to be patterned. It has to follow a script. Otherwise, it's just too scary, too complicated. You might end up revealing something true about yourself. And we just can't allow this to happen, because then we might not get along, and everyone has to be friends with everyone else. However, in such ideology, you are bound to never be truly understood, as you never truly express who you are, and the other person is locked up in the same cage. You can't really understand them either, as you know they're just using the same words to be friendly towards you. Whilst the small talk is used to prevent connecting more deeply with each other, in a masquerade, you only ever see each other mask to mask, but never eye to eye. In small talk, language is used as a tool to build social connections. In a sense, it's a prolongation of a nonverbal communication. Language is used to simply establish friendly connections. However, I just love language too much to accept it. It's so much more than just a tool for social connection. Even though it was invented by humans, it is more than human. Language can be used to create and express ideas. It's not just a tool for socialization, it's a tool for self expression. And it pains me to see language degraded to its simplest form, with simplest vocabulary, with simplest ideas. Now, of course, language has a social purpose, but why would you do that? Why, instead of using language to explore the world and others around you, you would use it to just make sure no one hurts you? You would use it for its simplest purpose, reverting to patterns of communication instead of creating your own patterns. Engaging in small talks feels like seeing the most beautiful sunset you ever saw and having only 6 crayons to paint it. It's a painful, torturous experience because you can't express the beauty you saw with the tools you have. Now, some people may consider it artistic challenge. Some people may deem 6 crayons to be enough, but I just can't. To simplify the beauty of sunset, to simplify human experience to simple patterns, just feels disrespectful to the beauty and complexity. I can't fundamentally understand why would people want to socially communicate so much without context. Now, I care about ideas and things more than I care about people, and I only care about people as the prolongation of my caring for ideas. So I first need to know who a person is, their worldview, their opinions, and then I can care how they're different. Fundamentally, most people are the other way around. We first need to care about a person, and then we're gonna care about their worldview and opinions, because it will help them communicate with that person better, and then we care about ideas as the expression of human passion. While I, on the other hand, believe that people just carry ideas, people just carry something that is greater than them in them. And I have the same beliefs about language. Language is something greater than human, even though humans invented it, and I feel like it should be properly respected. To speak, to communicate with people is an art, and to see it degraded and simplified just pains me. It might be alright. It might be okay that people choose to use language in this manner, but the extent to which small talk is widespread in Canada and outside of it is a little bit frustrating, as it almost doesn't leave enough place for language to be used for its original purpose, for self actualization and self expression, as well as true understanding of others. I know that language provides amazing opportunities to express yourself and understand others. So to abandon that opportunity and revert to coloring books instead of painting your own picture just seems like a waste. Language is more than a tool, language is an art of itself, and I would like to see it respected as such. Thus, I believe that small talk is a sacrifice to society. You sacrifice your knowledge of others and your self expression for the social cohesion. And it might be a necessary sacrifice. After all, putting on a friendly facade and pretending to enjoy the talk about the weather might be the least of the sacrifices society demands, and it even has some positive benefits for your health and for your feeling of belonging. Yet, the fact that small talk is a sacrifice and that we lose a lot by always reverting to safe talk should be talked more about. I hate writing conclusions to my essays, and I don't have a conclusion to this video either. I don't really have an uplifting message or a possible solution. Some things are just so vital for a culture, but you can't really get rid of them. I think I just needed to share my thoughts on small talk. Let me know what you think about small talk in the comments. And maybe you will come up with a better conclusion for this video. Bye!